Nice. Was it Buzz with your cuz over there?
Yeah, yeah. This is my last shirt. I had two of them. One got a little, hung up in the laundry. I'll call it that. So I have to reorder.
So, hey guys, welcome to Chef Grace's Place. Today I have Theresa and Cam from the channel Flour, Eggs, and Yeast.
How you doing?
How you guys doing?
Hi.
Good. You
Thanks
guys
for
are
having us.
in Orlando area,
Yeah.
Florida?
Yeah, Central Florida. It's
Cool.
nice.
I'm down in South Florida, so
There you go.
there we go. Are you guys originally from Florida?
No, we're from New Jersey originally.
Me too.
All right, shut this interview. It just got weird.
What part of New Jersey?
Old Bridge.
Okay, I'm from Nutley, so
All right,
That's
so
lovely.
you're a little further north.
yeah, that's funny. I think I have some cousins in. I don't remember the name of it. It'll come back to me later.
Are they still there?
Yeah, they're still there.
Okay.
They're still there. Oh, Brick.
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
That's by there. There we go. I was thinking it has something to do with building houses.
Brick has grown a lot. It's grown a lot in the past few years, which is nice.
Mhm.
So why'd you move to Florida?
Because we can't retire, so we figured that we just pretend like we were. So that's the dream of every Northeasterner, is to retire in Florida. So we're just doing it a little early.
It's ranked one of the top places to live now in the whole country is Orlando, Florida. He just
Yeah.
read that the other day.
Bizarre.
I feel like a Floridian wrote that.
Yeah, it's fun. They put a bunch of names in a hat and pulled one out, and that's what they got. Like, here are places people are moving. Oh, this one's good. This one's good too.
Are you like Disney fans? Is that why you chose Orlando?
Yeah. We saved a lot of money on travel and lodging by moving here. But
A friend of mine works for Disney World, so she loves Disney, but
yeah, you kind of have to if you work there. That's like not some place you can go in and not like where you work. You won't
that's
last.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. So what made you guys? I watched a bunch of your channel, but I feel like it's just kind of, it's not, it's not just baking. It's not, it's a lot of everything. So how'd you come up with your name? Flour. I thought it was just going to be like bread. When I heard the name, I was like, oh, baking. So how'd you guys get into doing your channel? And
Well, initially, we started making fresh pasta and pizza in the house. And that was,
you're from New Jersey, so of course,
yeah.
that's what you
Yeah,
have to
so
do.
the pasta requires, water and flour.
Mhm.
And the pizza is, flour, yeast, and water. So like, how do we work these things together? And we started making, more, I guess, I don't even want to call it fancy recipes, but instead of using just flour and water for pasta, we started using eggs, and then, we baked cakes and everything else. We're like, okay, so how do we tie it all together? Flour, eggs, and yeast covers all of the food. And then, as you know from watching, I do a lot of drink reviews, and that's where the yeast also kind of comes in.
Mhm.
Right. So all the cool things that we like to drink, yeast are involved in creating the experience.
So what's your favorite drink you've made so far?
Personally, in here for the channel, and I got a lot of backlash from it. But when we got into quarantine and we're looking at what do we have in the house, right? Because you couldn't go and get anything. I was like, I really feel like I need a mental vacation. Let's make a Mai Tai. But we didn't have the natural original recipe ingredients. So we substituted some things like mango and stuff, and it came out really good. Just that everybody started coming and going, you made it wrong, you made it wrong. So that was by far my favorite drink, but nobody else liked it. I mean, it tasted good, but the internet disapproved.
Oh, the internet. Is that what's the video you've gotten is it the one you've gotten the most like flack for, or you got another winner?
Yeah, I mean, it's thankfully, knock on this wooden desk, that none of it's been really like, vicious flack, but I would say, yeah, that was the one that people were kind of like, let me tell you how it's done, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, we made the video, we're telling you how it's done. But yeah, I would say that's it, right? I mean, that one by far.
We've been recently getting flack for when he makes bread, he measures in grams, like he uses a scale instead of cups. And people were getting really angry. They're like, we live in America, use cups and ounces. I don't want to see grams. And we're like, oh my God.
The food scale. The food scale has definitely caused some issues with
Doesn't that make you like embarrassed to be American when people do that?
Well,
I mean, I get it. Like if you're used to doing something in one way, and cooking a regular, whatever, right? Chicken, steak, salads, you don't have to be really precise. But when you bake something like bread, anything that has a chemical reaction, you have to have very tight ratios or you're not going to have the experience that you want. Mm-hmm. I don't think a lot of people really get that, because how many people do go and like, all right, I'm going to, bake and not use a mix from the supermarket, or I'm going to make a pizza and not buy the dough from already done. So when you do it from scratch, I think you start to understand more about what it means to have a tightly controlled recipe. And a cup, every time you fill a cup of flour, it's going to have a different weight to it. I mean, you'd have to have a food scale to know that. So if you haven't bought one, that's the leading indicator of people who don't really bake, things that require precision. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just those are the ones.
Well, it drives me crazy too, because as a baker, like, aside from all the technical things like, volume versus weight and all that other stuff, if you have, the scales are only like $20 now. Like they've got so cheap.
You could get cheapo ones on Amazon.
Yeah, you'll really only need like an 11-pound weight limit. And when you have like a bowl and you can tear the scale, you only have to clean that one bowl.
That's right. That's right. Efficiency.
Yeah, it's like no dishes compared to like having all these cups, and then it's all tied together and you have to, you get everything dirty anyway, and it's a mess. And it's like, if I can just zero out my scale and kind of, measure them so they're like not touching each other, just in case you fuck it up. You can take
I don't know if your food scale has the magic button that changes things from grams to ounces and back and forth, but
it does. It does.
Ooh,
yeah, the one that does pounds and ounces. Watch out. Like,
yeah. I mean, what we told somebody, like, look, I could tell you it's 200 grams, or I could have you measure out 7.093685 ounces. You choose. Exactly. That's your choice.
And sometimes the ounces, they only go to like the hundredths place. So you really need, you need something more precise. It's grams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come on, America, get it together.
hot topic, the food scale.
But it's nice that people actually, we don't want to, I don't want to say we don't want to be confrontational. We try to be really welcoming to anyone who leaves a comment. But I think it's funny when people who are our community comment back to the people who leave negative comments.
That happens a lot on Instagram. People come third party rescue, I call it.
Or Facebook. That was
Facebook
like
too.
Facebook,
Facebook too.
Oh, that's so funny. That's good. You gotta make like a separate account.
Yeah.
You say what you really want to say.
I'll tell them.
I'll tell them. Oh man. Yeah, people get so like into it too. And I'm like, man, it's just online. Like,
Yeah. It's easy to fire away without actually putting yourself out there.
yeah.
That's something I think that we all do that makes it a community and nice to interact with other people because we try to learn things, we try to teach things. It's just, it kind of self fulfills its own prophecy. And then you have somebody else coming who doesn't have any stake in the game. They're just, lobbing the bombs in. And we're like, right? And that seems to be very rarely. We have, thankfully, again, knock on wood, never received anything too negative from another food channel or another drink channel. They'll help you and say, hey, try it this way, or this is good too. And we appreciate that because we don't know everything. I learned that a long time ago that I probably know about a quarter of what I should. So I accept help openly, right? I mean, it's just, we have to do that.
Yeah, but I do miss the shit talking. Like people are too afraid to like say anything negative. Like I even when I started the Nacho Bowl challenge, I was like, I called out my friend John Barker. He's got a Skull and Mortar is his channel. He does like all barbecue basically. And I called him out because he used to be like a WWE wrestler. And I'm like, he knows how to shit talk. And I was like, come on, like let's start a feud. Like, let's do this. I wanna
we got an angle. We got to work an angle.
Shit talk. And so he makes his like video and he barely says anything. I was like, come on, man. Come on. I had some good one-liners written down.
try to bait him into the fight. Yeah.
It didn't work.
I appreciate your efforts of trying though. Really, that's awesome.
That's one thing in like I feel like people from New Jersey were like, we should talk all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes it's too much. People don't know how to handle it if they're not from that, circle. Oh, yeah. They're like, wait a second, what's going on here? Like, why is this happening? And it's just fun and games,
Yeah, I remember when I transferred from being a flight attendant in JFK to being a flight attendant in Fort Lauderdale. I was talking to like one of the people in Fort Lauderdale, and then I thought we were having a good time. Another person, are you mad at so and so? I was like, no. I said you were yelling at her. I was like, oh.
Oops.
Whoops. So, it's funny though. But so anyway, how do you like what are you doing in Orlando? How's are you growing any vegetables in quarantine, or are you just cooking?
Yeah, there's been a couple of failures to launch in the vegetable garden. As you know, the growing season in Florida is bizarre. And we had some tomatoes that were going pretty good, but then it got super hot and we were watering them 3 times a day, but it wasn't enough. It was like, some of the things work out and others didn't. So maybe this year we're going to try peppers or something that may be more heat tolerant. And, other than citrus, we have lemons and oranges and stuff that we grow.
Oh, that's so cool.
Potted trees.
That's cool.
Every once in a while, we'll feature one in a video.
Yeah, I kill everything, so I am not a gardener. He's good. Like you had just did a video today. You put out a video with the rooting hormone.
Yeah, the basil. Yeah.
He uses that all the time. So he'll snip off some of our rosemary or our basil or all sorts of stuff. Like we'll go on walks and he'll see interesting stuff along the way, and he'll snip it and
I clipped a part of a tree or something on a walk. I'm like, oh, that looks really pretty.
Yeah, now it's like super tall.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So I saw that comment. I was like, they're growing something. It works really well on the tomato plants actually too. The nipping in the food powder. But the tomato season's just starting. We want to try again.
Oh yeah, we're pulling them off. They're ripening now. We had right after it was cold that 2 days in January. We planted the tomatoes and they grew pretty quick. So they're starting to pop out. Those were the ones that survived the heat wave of 2020.
Yeah, there's a tomato called the Everglades tomato, and it's native to Florida. Apparently it does really well in the high temperatures. So I'm trying to grow
Hence the name, Everglades. Yeah,
Everglades.
yeah. Got it. That one, we can't forget that one.
So since you're not retired, what do you guys do for until you are going to be YouTube famous and make a lot of money off YouTube ads?
So you mean working for a long time? I'm in IT. I work in computer data centers and stuff. Very, very boring.
So you know how to make one of those crazy bat farms so we can just have all the subscribers?
You know, all of my creative energy goes into YouTube these days.
But so I work for a company, I don't want to say the name because I don't know, but I develop stores across the nation. So it's fun and something I really love. And I think that no matter what job you have, if you can find something that you love about it and like focus on it, then you can go to work every day and feel excited about it. So my favorite thing about my job is that I get to interact with people very often. And even during 2020, even though I'm not traveling for work anymore, it's all virtual. So I still get a chance to see people over, Zoom or, what we call Microsoft Teams. And I think people kind of gravitate because they're not able to travel and they're not able to see people as often. People are very receptive and welcoming, and it's fun. But the YouTube part is, I think, both of our creative outlets. That's kind of like the fun weekend and night activity.
So what are you working on for your channel? Like what's coming up next?
You want to say mine or yours?
I don't know. I mean, we have a bunch of stuff that she just got done editing.
Yes.
So we're not exactly sure what's going to come out in the order, but we have an idea. Mm-hmm. So that's as much as I know right now. Like I know there's 6 or so videos that are kind of staged, but whatever one
comes. So you do all the editing, Theresa?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of it?
It's so much control. I love it. So, this past weekend, I was able to, I don't know if you do this or not, but I love it when I am ahead of the game and I have videos scheduled out. Like it is in the YouTube, just ready to, go public at a designated time that I choose. So this past weekend, I got 8 videos done, and it's all about sugar bombs. So it's the isomalt, and you make them into a sphere and you put a filling in it and then you heat it up with hot water. So that's kind of the next series that we're doing, both boozy, so hot toddies, and, buttered rum, and then iced things like lemonade and juices.
And I have a ton of ideas in here about editing, but I can't make them translate into a video. So I just let her do it. I'm like, here's my vision, and then maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't.
So what's the sugar bomb? It's isomalt. Is this something you eat?
Yeah, well, you drink.
Yeah.
So you take a sphere, like a silicone mold, and you melt isomalt on the stovetop to about 300 degrees. And then you pour it in the mold, you spread it around, let it harden, pop it out, fill one of the sides with a filling of your choice. So if you're sick, maybe it's a tea sachet and some lemon and some cinnamon and some honey. And then you seal the top of it. And then it's more of a show, like, do you really need to put it in a sugar bomb? No, but people are loving it. So you put it in a glass of your choice and you pour the hot water over it and you see it kind of explode. So that's kind of like why it's very popular on TikTok and even YouTube. and you could do any filling. So we're doing sugar now compared to hot chocolate that we were doing for 2 months previous.
Yeah, the hot chocolate bombs. I like those.
Yeah, they're very
But
similar. Very, very similar idea.
yeah, the isomalt, for people that are listening that don't know what that is it's a sugar-free sugar, but it absorbs less moisture than traditional sugar, so it has less chance of cracking, and that's actually what they make the giant sugar sculptures out of. And also when you heat it, usually like regular sugar will start to turn caramel color, but isomalt will stay clear, and you can dye it with all fun colors and stuff like that. And you can make candies, like you can pull it and get the air in and make candy canes and stuff like that, add peppermint oil. It's a lot of fun. It was one of my favorite classes in pastry school.
Yeah, very dangerous, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, you got to like triple up on your gloves.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, burn yourself. But it's and triple up on you make like parchment bags, and you got to at least triple up on those too, and staple it together because it gets so hot. But it was always cool. You get the heat lamp with the silk hat. You get to pull it and everything. It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
so where did you go to school? Was it up in New York since you're up in New Jersey?
It was actually in Philly. It was the restaurant school at Walnut Hill College, which was at the time was the only place you could get a bachelor's degree in pastry. And my mom was all like, "You have to get a degree."
It's the same story, right? Everybody hears that. Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out that's not true.
Yeah. At the time, it was good advice. I mean, that was always the safety net, right? Everybody was always like, you need a degree to fall back on in case this YouTube thing doesn't work. Well, that's probably true. But, back then it was, you only have one path to doing anything. That was, nobody ever told you that you needed a degree to open your own business. I mean, let's just stifle the creative stuff and put you in school so that we can form you into whatever profession that we think you should be. And then later on you figure out, you know what, I could have just opened my own bakery and I didn't need all this. But, anyway,
well,
that's a tangent for a different video.
Yeah. But I think for the baking side, I'm not sure if you needed, I needed a bachelor's degree, because at the time there was really good certificate programs in New York City, and it was a lot of it is who you know. So if learning how to make banana bread, it's gonna taste the same whether I make it in Philly or New York City, but I might learn from somebody like their teachers were like Jacques Torres, Bobby Flay, all the big names. So it's more about trying to meet those people and the people that know them, and then getting a better job once you graduate.
Yeah, so, you're paying for the opportunity, right? At that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if it was definitely worth it. It definitely needs some kind of schooling if you're going to do pastry, because
that's an art
form. Well, you'd have to be really lucky to find a chef that would take the time to teach you pastry, because it has so much chemistry and everything in it.
And you need a food scale.
Culinary, you could probably just wing it. Culinary,
you need a food scale with pastry.
Yes. Oh my God. You have so many people I was in school with, they didn't in all the books, when you're working with huge batches of things, it'll say 3 pounds, but it doesn't say LBS. It has the pound sign, which everyone knows now is the hashtag.
Right.
They're like, what? Why does it say 3 hashtags?
Yeah. Dial #59, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, because I never knew why they in school too. They taught it as the number sign, not not that it meant pound, that it meant that number should go there or something. So I was just like, oh, now I know why it's pound on the phone, because it's actually pounds. I didn't realize people would use it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because I thought they just called it pound on the phone because you were so annoyed and you're just
right. Yeah.
Ridiculous. But anyway, so before you started your channel, do you guys have any like restaurant experience or yeah?
So it's funny that you said that you went to the restaurant school of Philadelphia. So I went to the restaurant school of New York City. So I went to Soho, like in downtown Soho. So I went and got culinary arts and pastry arts, and I didn't get a bachelor's, I got an associate's degree, but and then I've worked in so many bakeries and so many restaurants. And then we owned our own bakery for about 4 years in Texas, the two of us. So we did the majority of wedding cakes, where I would decorate, and he was more of the very meticulous eye. So I remember working on this 3-tier wedding cake, and it was covered in fondant, and he comes in and he goes, "Is that level?" I was like, I think so. And he's like, "I don't think it's level." And it's not like he would say, "Do it over," but now I'm looking at it and I'm like, does it look bad? So I was so mad. I just chucked the whole thing and recovered it. I was like,
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
oh. But he's very meticulous. So I'm kind of fly by the seat of my pants, and he's very, he wanted everything to be perfect that people were paying money for, which was a good point. He wanted to represent the brand. So we're a good team.
Like if I'm doing something for myself or for friends, I have more leeway. But if you're paying me for something, I want to deliver a product that you're paying for. So I'll look at things real quick and just be like, no. Like if I wouldn't pay for that, then you shouldn't ask somebody else to. That's the way I've always ran things, and it's frustrating and it drives me nuts, and that's why we don't do it anymore.
Oh, it was awful. Like we would deliver cakes. We would do everything ourselves. So we would rent a van every weekend to deliver, the wedding cake, and he would always be driving, and I would be in the back with the cake, and I would always have a fixer up kit just in case something happens. And just one of the experiences, I don't know if you remember, we were on the bumpiest road, and he was only going like 5 miles an hour, but the cake was just not
happy. I remember that. Yeah.
It was awful.
I'm like, who the hell got married here? I'm like, this road has been unpaved for like 5 miles. Where are we going? I thought we were going somewhere where somebody's going to kill us. That's how like remote it was. But it was beautiful when we got there. It's just, Anyway, that's again a different video.
Did you have them like you would stack them then before you left?
I did, yeah. I didn't know any better, so I would use dowels. I would use tons of dowels, like on the lower, middle, and then all through the middle. But yeah, the one time I felt so bad. These two sisters both got married, different months, both used our bakery. One sister was really sweet and one sister was not very sweet, right? And the not very sweet one, the cake was flawless. We did so well. I was proud of it. And then the really nice sister, on the way to the venue, the cake just smashed like up against the door. And I'm like, why does it have to be the nice sister that?
Oh no.
So I like did my best, but we just made sure the cake was like, the messed up part was towards the wall. I just felt so bad. I was like, do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't
awful.
the way we would have normally left it, but you would have had to have like looked at it to know that something had happened.
Yeah.
But we knew it happened, and that made, we made it more important to us than probably to them.
I don't even think she realized. So that was good.
Yeah.
I feel like people get really excited about their like wedding cake before the wedding, and then when it actually happens, they look at it like once and they're not even paying attention to it.
Right. Yeah. There's been a couple of those.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't like doing wedding cakes.
No, it's awful. The reason we stopped the bakery was, and I don't know if you'll remember this, like a week or 2 weeks before we were getting married, I decided that we needed to do one last wedding cake. And it was like a disaster. I thought it was a beautiful cake, but the
It was.
bride,
I remember this.
oh, she was so mean. And like,
It wasn't really, it was her and maybe
her mom.
Her mom was more.
And they demanded a full refund and like, but the cake was fine. Like
It was exactly what they asked for,
Yeah.
exactly what they signed off on. I approved it. It looked good. And then to boot, I mean, like the whole icing on the cake is that it was featured in a magazine.
It was, yeah.
Their whole wedding, like, and I'm looking like at all the like reviews and stuff they left on all of their wedding people. They trashed everybody.
Yeah, not just us.
They wanted everything for free, and it was featured in
It was beautiful.
a magazine.
Yeah.
There were pictures of it, like there's all sorts of accolades. We wound up in the newspaper for it. And this lady went bonkers
What?
about
Yeah.
why her cake wasn't exactly what we drew. And they looked at it and said, yes, this is what we want.
And
That rant's over.
Yeah. Well, and he's okay. Like, I don't know if you take things personally, but back then I took things so personally and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And here our wedding is coming up and I'm like, have this person in the back of my head. I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore.
People are crazy.
They'll do anything to get something for free too. And it's hard to like, cause you feel like you're in an alternate universe. You know what I mean? Like, what do you mean?
He was bad. He was like, do you want us to come pick up the cake? We can come pick up the cake.
Oh yeah, like they didn't want to pay people who want to pay when we got there. I'm like, well, I'll just take the cake home then. I said, I don't care. I'm like, it's up to you. If you don't want it, I'll take it. No. Okay, then you have to pay for it. That's how this works. I leave cake, I leave with money. Otherwise, no deal. You know, that's a non-negotiable. Yeah, then I'm sorry. I said that this rant was over, but then we would have the other people who would call and be like, you know, I could make this cake for $12 because each box costs $2. I'm like, then do it. You know, like, let me know now. We'll stop. You do what you want to do. Well, no, we don't want to do that. I'm like, then don't bring it up. I'm like, I don't have time for you and your Duncan Hines cake mix story. It just, great. I love that.
I didn't know we were opening this up.
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to be ranting. Sorry, Chef Grace.
It's got to at least entertain somebody, I guess.
Yeah, it's very,
No one knows this about us, so
it's a New Jersey shit talking coming out.
Yeah. And the other lesson is don't buy a wedding cake from me.
Did you make your own wedding cake?
No.
I'm debating that one. I think I might want to do it, but
Are you engaged?
No. Eventually, it's Noel's got to get his airplane mechanic license, and then we'll move towards that. But you know, we've been together. Our anniversary just passed. We've been together 7 years now. So
Nice.
Congratulations.
At least on the 7 years is tough to get to for a lot of people.
Yeah, we were together 9 years, so before we got married.
So yeah, we got time. I've known him since I was like 13, so I'm not going anywhere.
I would say, just from our experience, always have that backup, you know, go and taste cakes and think
I
about.
thought you meant their person.
No,
I thought you were
That's
gonna
what
make a
she thought
joke.
too. That is what she thought. Look at
I
her
was
face.
like, here's the joke. Here's the joke.
you have to interrupt. I can't even deliver a story anymore.
So sorry.
It seems like a good idea to make your own wedding cake until you get really close into that time frame and you're like, I have to do this and this and this, and I have to be here and these people have to be there. And it's like, if you make your own wedding cake, now somebody else has to deliver it. And you know, it's a lot of stress. It's because we thought the same thing. We'll just make our own cake. And I'm like, are we out of our minds? I'm like, whatever we have to pay somebody else to do it is worth not stressing about it. If you're, you know, a stressful type person.
You do remember I made the groom's cake though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing though. The groom's cake.
Did you do like a fun theme? Like,
Yeah, I made it in the shape of New Jersey. So
Yes.
and I had cannolis all over it, and it was fun.
That's awesome. So you can take the girl out of New Jersey, but you can't take New Jersey out of the girl. Oh man.
Yeah, I remember people liking that. They're like, oh my God, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all from New Jersey, probably.
Mhm.
Yeah, mostly, yeah. Or at least we're able to identify the shape of the state. So either way, it worked. People were excited. It wasn't like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a weird state that people may not know.
Rhode Island?
No, like Idaho or something, like where it has like a really unique shape and people are like, what is that? You know?
I mean, New
And-
Jersey's pretty unique, but it's like everybody knows that's New Jersey. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
sure.
if you just have one of those like square, like
Oh,
middle,
yeah.
you're
Is
like,
that Nebraska?
what that is.
Be Oklahoma, it could be Nebraska.
Exactly.
Whatever, yeah.
That's, doesn't make a good shirt either. So with the yeast, have you tried to brew any of your own alcohol?
Yeah, I vent wine. In Texas, we used to be able to go to the vineyards there, which were remarkably similar to what you would get in like California because of the terrain, and we live in the hill country. So you could always go and get grapes from them. They crush them and everything for you, and you just take them. If it was
Wow.
like their second tier that they'd normally sell to like other wineries. And, we take those, and there was a home brewing store there that had a whole, kit and stuff you could buy. And then I'm like, okay, so that was cool. And then we moved away from there, and I found out that now you can order the grapes, online, and, from all over the world. They'll send them to you either frozen or crushed already, juiced in a bag. So I do that. I make a lot of wine at home. I used to make beer, but it's more of a process because it's got to be cooked outside, and it's a longer amount of time. Like the wine you kind of do and you let it sit and you wait. There's not a lot of cooking and and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean we do them, but it's mostly wine these days.
Mhm.
Cool. Do you make a sourdough from you can use the yeast from making the wine to make sourdough too.
Yeah, we haven't done that. I don't do a heck of a lot of sourdough anymore. It just got frustrating from the time. Like I don't like to wait, like sit there and feed the yeast and let it go. Like I just like to go. When I have the energy or the want to do something, I just want to start going. So we would make like Polish or biga for breads, and I'm like, we got to start this up tomorrow. I don't know where I'm going to be at again tomorrow. I want to start now. So I stopped obsessing with sourdough just from the time of waiting for it to actually become something that's tasteful. And does it hurt the bread? Yeah, I think our bread quality has gone down a little bit, but we made up for it in other ways.
Yeah, it's been a while since I made some bread. I gotta like revive my mom again. But I used to do it on like laundry day because I had to,
There you go.
go back and switch it and come back and do a fold and then do that.
That's cool.
It was good timing for that. But then you had to make sure you had all the dough off your hands before you pull the laundry. There's a couple, oh, what is that, beta? I was like, oh, you got some mom on that shirt.
I like to wash the dough off with flour to just remove it all, and then before you clog up the sink.
Yeah, pretty much all though. People don't realize like even if you have a garbage disposal, it's terrible for your plumbing. Like it's like a plastic card. You just call it a bowl scraper, but it's like pretty flexible, and I scrape everything all the time before I put it in the sink, and people will just they just wash it and it gets all gummy, and even for the like the countertops and stuff too, like the scraper, like the bench scraper for that you need it, man. Oh, I understand why people are like gluten intolerant because that stuff is hard to get.
Didn't think of it that way, right?
Probably. I mean, a lot of people are just like, you know, the pansies, but it's a real thing. Like, oh man. Because even when it dries, like it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You miss a little piece of dough, you'll know that turns like a glue really hard.
So is there anything I didn't ask you yet about your channel that you want to tell everyone about?
Let's see. What would we want to tell people? We're still working on our first 1,000,000 views.
Oh,
Me too.
our goal is 2,000 subscribers. So we're hovering. We're like staying at the same number all this week, which is, you know, you see go up and then down and up. It's all around 1,550 right now. So, which is fine. And then, so he has his Buzz with Your Cuz series every Friday, right? So, or every Thursday now. And he's taking it on the road. So we have a lot of footage before COVID that we never got a chance to produce, where he would taste beers and wines from around the area, including theme parks. And so, you know, he's going to be, well, I'm going to produce it, but he's going to be doing some unique things, and I'm going to put some magic in there. And I think it'll be a really fun series. And I'm not sure which month it'll be, maybe April or maybe May.
So what theme parks we going to?
Whatever ones will let us in still.
Well, we already have some footage.
We have some from Disney. I think the stuff that we did in Universal is kind of like unusable now, because it was filmed mostly vertical, and
before we knew better.
There was a lot of like ancillary noise and things, kind of like distractions happening. And I don't think it's something that we could just put out now. So we may have to revisit some of them. Originally, we started doing the stuff for family and friends, yeah, on Facebook, and just through text messaging and other things. It was just like a fun hobby. So we never really intended to turn it into a full YouTube channel until we did. Actually, it was a lot better, I think, from like Facebook started turning pretty bad as far as having regular conversations that weren't like some geopolitical nonsense, which doesn't help us connect with family and friends at all. So YouTube kind of removed the ability for people to come in and take things in a different direction. So it was nice now, like the people who want to see it, they know where to find it. They don't have to weed through memes and other crap. It's just here's the channel, here's the dates we're putting stuff out. If you like it, view it. If you don't, move on. And everybody's happy with that. So I think that worked out great.
Mm-hmm. But we are going to Star Wars. So Star Wars Land. So there's some cool bars in there that he's going to do sneak peeks about.
This is an unrelated comment to what you just said. One of the things that drives me absolutely batty about YouTube and release schedules, like we don't want to put too many videos out. We could probably do 4 or 5 a week if we really wanted to. Nobody else wants to see that, right? But what drives me nuts is when we produce something and it kind of sits in the queue, and then other channels start doing it, and you're like, I can't release it now. It looks like I copied it. Like.
I thought I was in trouble just now because I saw him look at me, and I'm kind of in trouble because he has shot all the content and it's just sitting, and I'm producing, right? So kind of I'm in trouble.
That's what I said. It has nothing to do with the Star Wars stuff or anything like that. I was just thinking along the lines of like how we determine to release things and what's important to us and how we do it. Obviously, we don't own all of the ideas in the world. Nobody does, but it's always nice to put out something that you were thinking about and went through and produced without having somebody go, channel blah, 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 just did the same thing. And you're like,
there's this amazing channel. Her name is City foodie farm.
Oh, yeah. I like that
And
one.
what was funny is that he shot a chocolate chip cookie video quite a while ago, and I was thinking, I'm like, okay, I've got to get on that. And then she came out with the most amazing chocolate chip cookie video, and I was like, well, now I don't want to put ours out, you know, like one, I don't want her to feel like we're copying her, and then hers were so unbelievably awesome. I need to give it some time, you know, like let that.
Yeah, dude, I thought about doing a chocolate chip cookie video, and then like 3 days later, my friend Phil posted one, and I was like, no, I can't do chocolate chip cookies. But
Yeah.
now it's been like 6 months, so I feel like I could do one.
It's safe. Now it's safe. It cooled down.
I know, it's so sad because you don't, you know, no one owns chocolate chip cookies, but you know, you want to be, you know.
I feel like there's like, especially with food, there's like seasons of food. So I feel like focaccia season is probably gonna come up again. You know, like
Yeah,
but
we just did one.
oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
just
know.
made focaccia. Like I just think it's for some reason people just, you know, they have the same ideas at the same time because it's the season for that food. But I think when you know, it doesn't matter because you're gonna put a different spin on it than I'm gonna do. So it's kind of helpful to do the same kind of videos because people will just keep watching and watching and watching. You
Yeah,
know?
I think that's why I like to participate in a lot of like the food challenges or things where a lot of channels are doing the same thing and hashtagging it. Just because even though everybody's creating with the same like end goal in mind to hit criteria of some kind, you see the vast amount of creativity where you're like, oh, I would have never thought of that. That's a great idea. You know, but here's what I did. And they're sometimes thinking the same thing. And I just find that to be incredibly motivating. So like, you know, how do I meet this challenge without doing the same thing that everybody else is doing? And everybody's thinking the same exact thing. So you get all these really unique and great outcomes. So I've really been following a lot of those channels that are doing them.
Well, if you guys want to participate in the hashtag Nacho Bowl 2021, it's going till
I didn't understand. I didn't ask about what it was.
Well, no one has called us out, and I watch people like Parnell the chef, or Chef Parnell. I was like, oh, is he going to call us out because he knows us? So I think that as your challenge is growing, like hopefully someone calls us out. But isn't that how it works?
What is it before? I don't want to be called out. I know what it is.
It's her challenge.
No, I know it's her challenge, but I'm saying like I want to know what it is that I have to do. Some things I feel are just outside of.
You gotta make some nachos. You gotta make nachos, and you gotta you gotta call someone out if you want to like. You have to meet like if you want to win the challenge, you got to do all the rules. Like some people are not calling anybody out, and I'm like, well, then you can't win. I'm sorry. Like,
oh, so there's a winner for this. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you get to have another interview with Chef Grace.
That's okay. That's okay. You know, it's something that people could work for or not. You know, it's funny because, you know, when people say challenge, they automatically assume that there's a winner. But in many of these, there's not. Yeah. You know, the winners are the viewers or, you know, the other food channels. So I think it's cool that you have something, you know, if it's an interview or, you know, you flash a logo on the screen or something, who cares, right? But at least you have rules to the game and an outcome tied to those rules. So I can appreciate that.
So I was thinking it was more like telephone, like we can't participate until someone calls us out. So we could just do a video.
Oh, you could just do a video and you call someone out, and you got to like and comment on someone else's video, but you can't do it on your own video because that would just be, you know, ridiculous.
I call out me. Like and comment. Done.
Oh. Well, you're a baker, so you should participate in our collaboration this month. So we'll do your nacho challenge. And so our collaboration is hashtag Irish Cake 2021. And all you have to do, there's 3 rules. It has to either be green or Irish themed, like a cupcake or a cake. Then you have to use the hashtag, and you have to upload your video any day by April 1st. So everyone,
Everyone's gonna stop watching them after tomorrow because tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day.
it works really well in his cocktail community. So he's about to do hashtag Drunken Shamrock 2021. And they do
Vino Valentino over there.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah,
so I kind of took the idea from them.
Those get watched all the way through. I mean, we still get views on the video from that playlist.
Yeah, I did the
from January.
spicy cocktail challenge with them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
that's interview over there.
Spicy cocktail was fun.
Mm-hmm.
What did you make?
We made like a riff on a Moscow Mule, but with bourbon and serrano peppers rather than vodka and lime juice.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little spicy. I mean, for real. Well, at one point, yeah. Well, I sliced the serrano up. The first thing I was going to muddle it, and then I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, that could be really bad. So, so I sliced the serrano up, and I was drinking it. I'm like, oh, this is good. And then, like, when we stopped filming, I took a bigger sip, not paying attention, and the serrano like contacted my lip, and it was hot. And like it was good.
Like the alcohol will open up your pores and stuff, and get, oh my god.
That's what happened. Yeah, it was awesome.
Your face would be burning for like hours.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. I did a spicy cinnamon pineapple cocktail because I felt like I was gonna do a pepper, so I was like, what else is spicy that's not a pepper? But Irish cake.
Mm-hmm. And you don't have to make it Irish. It could just be green. And so we have about 20 submissions so far, and there's not going to be any winner. So all I'm doing is I'm creating a playlist with everyone's videos and, kind of like letting them know, hey, thanks for contributing and you're on the playlist now. And so people are kind of watching each other's videos in support. And at the end, after April 1st,
we're going to delete everything.
No, I'm going to I'm going to compile everyone's submissions, kind of like, and do snippets. And it's also on Instagram. So for example, his sister, she's going to be submitting a picture to us, and putting it on Instagram. And so I'll include pictures from Instagram that are participating and put it in a video montage and saying thank you to the community. Here's all the channels that participated, and kind of like giving shout outs to every single video or picture that was submitted.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna do another one next month? Because I feel like I'm not gonna get the Irish cake. Maybe. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I want to think of another challenge too. I like the challenges; they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I had this one guy who did like 3 different videos.
Oh, for the nachos.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't have the heart to tell him like it's not cumulative, like you can't add all the videos together.
Oh,
But there's
nice though.
Well, if you keep coming up with ideas, it's like, okay. I'm okay with that. I would think that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it was funny. He did one where he dressed up as the Cardinal, and one where he dressed up as Elvis.
That's cool.
Yeah, they were really funny. Chappie's Tiki Bar. That's the guy.
Oh my god, I love him. His little dog who sits on the bar. What is that dog's name? It's adorable. It just sits there. It's so well behaved.
Mookie, that's the name.
Mookie.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
I don't know where he is. Yeah, he's in somewhere tropical. I don't know where he is, but
I don't know either. Mm-hmm.
I think I might just interview him because he's so funny.
Yeah, you should. Even if he doesn't win.
Every tiki bar is a good time.
So where's the first place you're going to go out to eat when you can go out to eat?
I just asked him that at dinner time because I'm tired of us eating dinner at home.
I'm not tired of eating at home, by the way. I'm tired of cooking. but not eating. I'm certainly okay to continue eating here and anywhere else I can get my hands on food.
So you say yours and I'll say mine.
Yeah, I think we had different ideas, you know, and it's funny because it really evolved. When the pandemic first started, I'm like, I had a list. I'm like, as soon as this is over, we're going here, 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 and here. And then slowly I'm like, well, you know what? I really didn't miss that place that much. Or I can create the items that are on their menu. So one of my favorite things to eat is a chile relleno. And there's a Tex-Mex place by us called Chewy's. And I think that would be my first place to go. I can't really make that in the house. If I did, it wouldn't be good. And I'm kind of.
What is a chile relleno?
It's a big. It's not a bell pepper. It's it's either poblano. It's a big poblano pepper, and it's cut, and they'll stuff it with meat. Could be beef, beef and cheese, or chicken, steak, whatever. You stuff it, and then it's deep fried. So it's floured and deep fried, and then they can put it back together, and it is just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
I would have done that for the channel if I had any confidence that I could make it happen.
I think you could do it. I think you
I'm
could
just
do it.
I look at them like to me, the concept of deep frying a stuffed poblano pepper with, a flour and breading on the outside. I'm just like, I'm going to pull this thing out of the oil, and it's just going to be like.
I wonder if they probably freeze it before they do it. Like they cook everything and then freeze it so it stays tight.
That would be smart money. Would be on something like that. Yeah, frozen or I don't know. All I know is it's delicious and it costs about $12 there, and it's worth every cent.
I was just thinking about doing a stuffed pepper video because I've been doing a lot of.
Yeah, like it's so popular right now.
I didn't even know. I was just like, oh, I kind of want to eat some stuffed peppers.
It's bizarre, right?
Yeah.
You're just saying it's like everybody has the same idea and the same
I
craving.
think everyone's just plugged in together. Nobody knows. That's crazy.
YouTube analytics knows exactly what we want.
That's probably. I mean, you saw the Social Dilemma?
Mm-mm.
No, it's this documentary about how like social media is like manipulating everybody.
Oh, makes sense.
I was like, oh, that's why I want stuffed peppers.
Yeah, that's right. I keep seeing these stuffed peppers everywhere. I don't get it. I don't understand, but I think I want one. Yeah, I think it's good. It's pretty interesting from advertising overall, like how you get susceptible to like messaging that you don't necessarily even know is there. And, it drives the whole thing. Like I'll look at it and be like, this advertisement is not working. But then like 2 or 3 days later, I'm like, I remember your tagline. I know the actor or actress who is in there. And I'm like, I guess it worked. I'm like, people get paid a lot of money to make you understand the way you should be feeling. Or what you should be buying or spending your money on. There's an art form to it, which is lost on me as a producer, but I certainly take the content subjectively and act on it.
All right, so I actually got to get going, but it was great talking to you guys, and I'll see you on the internet.
Thanks for reaching out, Chef Grace. We loved it.
I do have one question before you go. It's a short one. Are those
All right.
two Rosso tomatoes and Cento behind you on that rack?
Yeah. Of course they are. I'm from New Jersey.
Like when you did that, when you moved your head over, I'm like, oh look, there's two Rosso tomatoes.
Yeah.
That's how you know I'm addicted. That's I just outed myself. I belong in a 10-step program on tomatoes, and never mind.
Reason for everything.
All right. Well, it was fun.
It was great to talk with you.